Hello! Welcome everybody to another Thunderbird live hacking session. This is the 12th? 12th? It's hard to pronounce, but yes, 12 of these, and I'm still having fun, and I love showing all the things that I don't know how to do, and I'm gonna show you all my lack of knowledge and all the beautiful things that we can code and break inside Thunderbird. How's everybody doing today? Please say hi in the chat, leave your questions, ask anything you want about Thunderbird, about coding, about what the hell we're doing here, and I will answer to everyone. We already have a bunch of people. Draman already shared a nice emoji. Hello, Draman. Thank you. Oh, Draman is asking, I'm curious if you figure out that password issues. Yes, Draman, I figured it out, and I'm gonna show you today what I did. It was, of course, it was a matter of adding the new tab that I was opening, the new page that I was opening in a tab, in a specific file to let the login manager and the password manager know that that file needs to be ignored entirely. So that's lovely things to do. Anyway, already a bunch of people are connecting here. Lovely. Sorry, usually I do it at 11 a.m. Pacific time, but today is 11:30 because I had stuff to do this morning. But anyway, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Today, I'm gonna show you a bunch of how to implement tests, because we have a couple of, first of all, the next ESR, the next extended support release of Thunderbird is coming out probably this summer, like around June, July. So we need to solidify a lot of things. We need to close all the open bugs for that specific version. And also all the new things that we implement, they need to be covered by tests. So today we're going to implement a bunch of tests for the compose message, especially the section that handles all the generation of the peels, the new composition window, and all the extra good stuff. I already landed a bunch of tests related to the attachment pane, the new attachment pane that I'm going to show you. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, let's jump right into it in our lovely Bugzilla, the single source of truth for Bugzilla, for all the bugs. Hello, Mercury Juice. Yeah, Mercury Juice. Okay, hi, welcome. So what I want to do today, I want to implement some automated tests for the recipient peels, because if I check out, first of all, am I on the proper bookmark? Yes. So if I compile these and we check the current status of the peels, we implemented a lot of very cool usability improvements, and we nailed down a lot of the workflow and edge cases. We implemented a lot of features for those peels. So I'm going to show you a bunch of these things. First of all, well, we got my email here, but we don't need to focus on the email, but only on the composition window. So the composition window, you probably already saw, you know and love it. It's beautiful. I'm so impressed. But if I write something, of course, we're going to have the autocomplete here. If I hit enter, it generates this peel. And this peel is a standalone entity. And we can do whatever we want with this peel. So I can drag it and drop it above the CC label that now it's closed, and it's gonna automatically open the CC field and transfer the peel. Of course, I can transfer the peel above, below, or on the BCC. Inside here, there are like extra headers. These are the email headers that some user might have, some user might never have. Probably you only have like the reply to as an extra header, but depending on what type of email usage you have, if you have some like, I don't know, enterprise type of emails, or you have some unique type of headers, we will automatically collect them, and you can write to these header. And also we have another feature here. If we have a lot of these headers or a lot of peels that increase the area, automatically this area adds a scroll a scroll bar and you can scroll through it. Of course, you can resize these to make it your own, but by default, we add the resize option, we add the scroll option, so you don't risk to have the message header continuously expanding until it covers the entire message body. We don't want to do that. So one thing that we other things that we have for the peels, of course, if you hit comma, it autocompletes, or if you hit tab, it autocompletes. If you hit semicolon, it doesn't autocomplete because that's actually accepted. What else? If you type something, you don't hit anything, but you click outside, it autocompletes the first available results. And then we have a lot of all these keyboard navigation, like you can select, you can cycle through the peels with the arrow keys. If you hit spacebar, it's deselects or selects. So now it's selected, it's not selected, so you can deselect and select a peel. If you hit control and move it around, it remains selected. This first peel is still selected, but you can move the focus around and hit spacebar again. So we allow you to select multiple peels, and in this way you can like control X and then open CC, control V, and just move the peels around. We also have other options, like you can right click and recognizes where the peel is. You can move it to CC, you can move it to BCC. If it's closed, it opens up automatically. If you select multiple things, you can move them all together to, for example, to the CC field. We have all these different things, and also we prevent typing space or typing a comma. But if you have, for example, you have something in your address book, I have these fake addresses like Doe, John Doe, Jane Doe, with a comma. I save these with a comma in my address book as a display name. And I show you that if I hit comma, for example, I hit as, I have an autocomplete. If I press comma, it autocompletes. But if there's a comma in the display name of the autocomplete, it doesn't autocomplete because we cannot be sure that the user is not just typing a comma to get extra results, or it wants to autocomplete. So if I write Doe and I get a couple of autocompletes here with Jane, John, and Judy, and if I hit comma, it doesn't autocomplete because it recognizes that, oh, we have a bunch of saved addresses that are not, that they have a comma inside, so we cannot autocomplete. And of course, if I hit a comma again, it autocompletes. Then we have other things. If you write wrong address, like a peel that is not an address, it just highlights it entirely red. And we have a tooltip that said this is not a valid address. And because there are colorblind users, then maybe this red doesn't mean anything for them. We also have a big fat warning sign there. And of course, you cannot send an email to an invalid address. But if you also, of course, if I type an address, if you type a new address, for example, new@something.com, this is a valid address, but you don't have save it. You don't have it save it in your address book or in your list of saved addresses. We show this little indicator here. It's not intrusive. It's not really important because Thunderbird automatically, after you send an email, collects those addresses and saves it in a reusable address book for you. So it knows that an address was already used and doesn't tell you, hey, this was never used. But if you type it for the first time, we have this little indicator. And if you go on rollover, you have a tooltip that says, hey, this is not in your address book. This is just a little warning, because if I type, for example, my email, it's asked@akiraux.org, and I know that I'm typing to that user and I want that, but instead of using the autocomplete, I do, for example, asked@akiraux.org. Maybe if I'm going fast and typing fast, I don't recognize, like I don't notice that I mistyped that email address and I added an extra letter or I mistyped the letter. And this indicator is telling me, hey, this is a new email address. And I was like, oh no, I didn't want a new email address. I was trying to type as which I have. So it's a visual indication that that address, it's new. So yeah, a lot of wonderful thing. And you can, of course, reorder emails. So if you want this email, like the first one has to be Jane Doe, so you can drag it. I don't know if you can see this indicator that appears when you can drop it, and you can drop it at the first, or you can drop it on the label. It's just, you can reorder the addresses the way you want, just to reorder the location. Because I don't know if you like a different order of emails, it doesn't really matter, but there are all these options that we're offering to the user. And all these options, unfortunately, because we're lazy, we're not lazy, but because it's, they were working, but up until now, they weren't fully fledged out. They were still in development. Some edge cases were still like finicky, but now everything is super solid. We haven't had any report of misuse or typos or issues in the appeals department. So I know it's a little bit late, but we should implement some tests to cover all these things that we just showed. So we need to cover tests. Yeah, we are going to implement some beautiful tests in our addressing widget overlay, which is the section that takes care of all of this. Question from Draman. Is it possible to have an animation? Animation of what? It's 100% possible to have an animation, but what type of animation do you want to see? And then we have Rajdeep. Hello. Hi, Rajdeep. Welcome. While you answer my question, Draman, I'm going to create a new bookmark in order to work on this. So this is the bug. Implement automated tests for recipient peel. Recipient peels. So it's HG bookmark bug peels tests. Boom. And I switch from mercurial cues to mercurial bookmarks because I'm an adult now and I should behave like an adult. I'm a grown up because the bookmarks, they work with our automation tool, which is called our review tool, which is called Fabricator. We use that, and we're slowly moving away from Bugzilla. There are like, yeah, I don't know. The reasons are kind of strange. It seems that Bugzilla is not actively developed anymore, but it's still heavily used and sometimes is developed and updated, but not really. So we are using Bugzilla for bug reports and we're using Fabricator for patch reviews, and we have this separation of things, and Fabricator is a little bit more automated, more modern. Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna show you if I manage to make the test work. Yeah, hello Lawrence, unit test jutsu. Yes. Ha ha ha. And everything explodes. When you drag and drop an email address order, sure, yeah, we could show an animation. Do you mean as a feedback for the user to let the user know that something is changing, or a better animation for it? I mean, just like shifting around, like maybe it happens for the tabs in Firefox. We can definitely do that. We are kind of not, we're kind of like keeping it, I don't know how to say it, but we're trying to not implement too many animations because, surprisingly enough, we have a lot of users that are motion sensitive. And when you have too many animations, like the things that transition or switch size or something like that, that's why when you open and close a panel in Thunderbird, it just opens and closes. Like we don't have smooth transitions or something. We're slowly implementing those, but also we're implementing the option to disable those animation because, as I said, we have motion sensitive users. There are some users, unfortunately, that if they see motions or changes of colors or transitions and animations, they get dizzy. It can cause epilepsy. It can cause like headaches and all the stuff. So we have the option to disable the animations, but overall we always approach this with, let's not add animations on the first place if it's not necessary. If the animation adds value to the experience and makes the experience better, yes. But if it's just for like really for cosmetic, let's not do it because it's better. So we have less problems. Rajdeep said, what is Bugzilla? Is it like an issue tracker in GitHub? Yes, Bugzilla is the OG issue tracker. It's like 20 years old. Before GitHub, before GitLab, before Jira maybe? No, I think Jira was already there. But yeah, Bugzilla is an issue tracker. Yeah, Draman says, like the Chrome tabs, when you switch their position by drag and drop, it gives you a good feedback about what just happened. Yeah, that's we can definitely think about it. It's yeah, good suggestion. Thank you, Draman. I will do a follow-up bug and see if we have some capacity to add some animation to the peels. But yeah, good stuff. Anyway, I am in the correct bookmark now. Okay, Danny always with the good knowledge here, dropping the ball. Danny knows everything. So whenever I say something here, it's probably wrong. So yeah, Danny says that Bugzilla is actively, quote unquote, developed, but probably developers aren't paid anymore to maintain it. So yeah, that's a sketchy thing. But anyway, so we need to implement these tests. We already have a test infrastructure for the peels, and we're testing as very few things. So I remember correctly, is the browser address widgets.js. Yes, in the browser address widgets.js file, we have our initial testing infrastructure for the addressing widget. And the addressing widget is the name that we use for our peels. And actually, let me move my beautiful face to the other side so you can better see the code. So here, what are we doing? We are setting up a module. We are setting up a fake account called Tinderbox. It's a fake POP3 account. And then we have some helper functions here. Check address type state, if it's collapsed, if it's not collapsed. So this is good. And then we start getting into some add tasks, test address type. For each account that we have, let's check if we have an existing account. Okay, this is just to check the NNTTP account. Test address suppress leading comma. This is one of the most recent tests that we implemented. You can see because it's an async method instead like the previous method where like synchronous. We're going async methods because it removes a lot of issues. We were having a lot of failures in the automation department, in the automation of tests, because a lot of tests were having intermittent failures. Intermittent failures is when sometimes it passes, sometimes it doesn't. And those were caused most of the times by the fact that our tests were synchronous and we were just basically we were checking, and this is a simplification, but we were checking if I click this happens, if I move this happens, if I do this happens, and that this happens like the consequence to an action sometimes because the testing infrastructure, the testing server, the server we're running the test on, it's a bit slow. That consequence, the reaction was happening like a split second after. So since we were expecting immediate feedback, we were just, the test was like, oh, it's not there, and just throwing a failure. So with a sync method, we can use simply async and await to await for the result. In that way, we are sure that a thing is happening. Even if it happens slowly, it doesn't matter. It's still happening, so it's good. But here, this is a good example of what we can do. Because in this test, we are opening the composition window, the compose. We have the controller here, then we are selecting the address input. And the address input, we are asserting that it starts empty, we add some value, we force a key press, in this case a comma, and then we check with an await that there's a pill in there and the pill was created. So basically what I want to do now, I want to test that a pill is created with an enter key and a tab key because we don't have that in check. Then I want to assure that a pill, like a fake address, if like a wrong address generates an error pill. And then I want to check if we have, I don't know how to add, I think we can add, it would be nice to add an address in the address book and check that if I write a different address, we have the indicator that that address is new. So I want to test those 3 scenarios. And then I want to loop those scenarios in all our fields. So in the to field, CC field, and BCC field. That's my main goal today. Let's see if I manage to do it. Yay! So because I'm lazy, I'm gonna copy these. And I'm going to go all the way down here. Close compose window, assert key input. Yeah, this is a big long test. Okay. Boom. And we need to close the compose window here. Yes, close the compose window. Can you read it? Is the font size of my editor big enough? Is it good? Just let me know if it's not good. It's good. It's good enough. Okay, so here we got the this is closing, and we need an empty here. So the thing that we're doing first, I want to use these, I like to call these MC, or yeah, MC, which is like short for like main controller. Since we're opening the window, we need that controller in order to check everything, and I like to use the main MC because it's shorter than controller, but it's just a convention. We use the bean folder to be sure that we are in the correct folder. Sometimes the test, since when we run the test automated, and I'm going to show you what happens, we open and close a window like very fast, and sometimes the focus doesn't properly is not properly moved in the right folder in the right location. So by using this helper method bean folder, we're waiting for that test to be sure that we are in the root folder of our fake account. Okay. Oh, talking a lot is very hard on my throat. We have a bunch of questions. Amro, you hope you didn't come late. No, you're perfectly on time. We just started coding a little bit of unit test here. Draman, what testing framework? We use Mocky Test. And if you're interested about our testing framework or anything that we do about Thunderbird, there's this website called developer.thunderbird.net. And there's full documentation here. You can go into testing. You can go even right now if you want to check what I'm doing. You can go into testing infrastructure and says adding tests. We have multi-test, or we also has XPC shell based unit test, but it's mostly multi-test for all our UI and front end automation. Multitask good stuff. Yeah, Danny also shared a helpful account, but don't share the Mozilla UI. No UI. Don't share the Mozilla documentation. We have a beautiful Thunderbird developer documentation here. But yeah, here there's an example of how to write adding new test, monkey test, and import some resources if you want to import all the utilities in order to make it happen. And it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, send key, another window. Okay. Amro, the font is good. Also, Techie Press, the size is okay. I'm on mobile, so I guess it's fine for all. Oh, you're on mobile. You're watching. Oh my God. Watching these live streaming on your phone. Draman, I'm used to Jest. I never used Jest, you know? But yeah, I heard it's kind of good. I heard some complaints that it was a little bit slow at times, but it seems to be good now. Yeah, then just a habit of sharing Mozilla. How dare you sharing Mozilla? No, it's fine. It's fine. But I like that developer.thunderbird.net guide. I contributed a lot to it. I wrote a lot of things, especially the Mercurial things. So that's why I'm recommended it, because hey, I wrote it. So if there's a mistake, you know who to blame. Anyway, let's continue running this test. Okay, we select the address book here, the address input, and as I said, I want to run this test. So first, yeah, let's do step by step. We assert that the address input is there. We assert that the value is equal to 0. We add a peel, and then we hit enter. This should be enter triggers the peel, and we can do these. So here we have a thing. Await for condition. We can do a thing. Let peel creation promise. It's equal to, we can use these test utils, wait for condition, and we can do a query selector all and say that in the, actually, let's do this. I don't remember the structure of our messenger compose because we have custom, okay, let mail recipient. So it's recipient's container. Recipient's container. It's equal to get element by recipient's container. We can do this. Recipient's container. So we have these recipient's container that it's our custom element that encapsulates all our autocomplete inputs. So it's the reply to, the to address input, blah, blah, blah. So we can tap that. And the peel creation promise that I want to do is using the recipient's container, query selector all, and I want to use my mail address input. What's the mail widgets, mail address peel. What is the tag of this? Okay, mail address peel. So every peel is a custom element, and a custom element has a custom tag. So whenever we create a peel, we're going to have basically an HTML element that is like this, mail address peel. So I can use query selector all to select all these elements inside there. And by doing this, I can do query selector all mail address peels. Length, it's identical to 1. Peel created, and we can do peels created. So I have these waiting for condition, but this waiting for condition is not running yet. But I just declare it and store it into a variable. So here I can do peels created, triggers the creation of the peel, and then we await for the peel creation. That's what I'm trying to do, right? Does it make sense? Okay. Oh, we have a bunch of text here. We have a bunch of comments in the chat. It's lovely, lovely to have so many people here. So let me. Parbane says, I don't know what I'm watching, but I learned WordPress from your WordPress beginner class, and I'm gonna give a like to you, bro. Thank you, Parbane. You're watching Thunderbird. This is just JavaScript. I'm writing some automated Moki tests in JavaScript to test some addressing thing creation in Thunderbird. Draman says, enter or tab. Let's start with enter because it's the most obvious one, and then we can do the tab. But all these things, it's a repeated, right? If we want to test this for the enter and the tab and the comma and whatever other things, these things, we don't want to rewrite it. So I'm going to put everything inside a helper method, and I'm going to run the helper method in a loop by passing specific parameters. So yeah, thank you, Draman, for answering to Parbin. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have these, and we can run this. So now if we run this test browser addressing widget, it's gonna run all these previous tests, all of them. And I don't want that because I'm focusing on the last test. So I'm able to make these, instead of commenting out and preventing this test to run, I can use the skip condition to tell Moki test, hey, just skip this test because I don't care right now. So we need to add that to every time we use add task here. Add task is this, and we can use skip. And then add task, we have it. Oh, this is a long ass test, which is great because we need this. Skip. Okay. So we are skipping those two tests. So potentially we just have one here. And let's see if this is good. We don't need to build and compile, but we can run simple Mac, which is our command line tool. It's called Mac. I don't know why, but with this we can do Mac test and tap the browser condition, browser address widget. Maybe if I expand these a little bit, you can see it better and you can read what I'm writing. So the window is gonna probably appear around here. I'm gonna try to drag and drop it above, but it runs at the center of the monitor. I'm just streaming the top left corner. I'll try to force it before it closes, but I can also delay it if I don't manage. So let's run it and see if it works and if we get a positive or a failure. Regenerating backend. Yeah, see, it opens here. Person. Oh, is not, yeah, see, we got a failure. So synthesize test. Oh shit, I'm an idiot, sorry. Yeah, see, we got a failure. Peels created is not working, and the test run twice to be sure that we have no intermittent failures. But here this is not what I need to do. Is a synthesize key press, if I'm not wrong. And I can do this inside key. Yeah, there you go. Virtual keyboard. VK return. That's what I'm trying to do. This is the right one. VK return. VK stands for virtual keyboard. So we're simulating the virtual keyboard return input instead of, if I write enter, we just write enter. That's why on the peel you saw probably written person.org enter. That's not That's not what we wanted. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, running test. Let's run it again. Boop. Oh yeah, it created it. Let me move it here. Bloop, I created it. Okay. It's super fast, but there's a trick that we can do. We can force the test to slow down a lot. So we can say that when it opens the compose, I'm gonna do sleep for 3 seconds. And this is milliseconds. So I have the time to drag the composition window above here. Then after it writes and after it hits return, I can do sleep also here about 3 seconds. So we can see that the peel is created and we can wait. Of course, the test is super fast because it just waits for confirmation. We waited that the peel is actually, we have 1 peel that is created. So that's good. Yeah, let's rerun it again. So created, 3 seconds, nothing happens. Now the address should appear. Yeah, it appeared. 3 seconds wait, and then this should close with a positive. And it runs again, same thing here. Now the address should appear. Bloop, appear, and then waits, confirms, and then okay, we ran 2 tests and we got an expected 0 results and everything. It's correct. And here we have the report of our test, where it's running, skipping the test that we said to skip, entering test address suppressly. Oh, we need to rename the test, sorry. Tests, address, tests, peel creation. Peel creation in all fields. Let's name this way. Yay. All right, how do you like these, guys? Fun fact, they named Mac because it means do in German. Really, Danny? I told you guys that Danny knows everything. It's a know-it-all. Danny, stop being so well-versed in everything. So, but yeah, it works. We implemented a very, very simple test to be sure that the return key generates the peel. And it seems silly at this point because, of course, the return key generates the peel. But since there are so many people working on Thunderbird on the source code and changing, like every day we push code left and right, having these automated tests that every time we push code, these tests run and they're sure that the simplest actions are preserved and we don't break things, it's very important. Because maybe there's a bug that the enter is actually moving the focus, and we had this bug before, like pressing enter was moving the focus to the bottom field and it wasn't creating the peels. Because a user, another developer said, okay, we need to keep cycling the focus. So if the user hits enter on an empty field, it should move to the next field, like filling a form. But by implementing that, we accidentally affected the generation of the peel. So having this test will allow us to be sure that the peel creation is safe. Avery says, yeah, Mac might be German. Yes, imperative to do. Machen, machen in German, which will kind of make sense as a name for a build tool. Yeah. Mocha, grab partner and path to file to test specific tests instead of skipping. Oh, Mac grab partner, path to file. I don't know. Maybe Draman. I never tried it. Maybe it's in the documentation and I didn't read it. Oh, Danny said, I learned this fact watching Mike Connolly stream. Yeah, see? Learning things by watching people streaming. Yeah. IO brought in, it's KRNL? You mean kernel? Kernel? It's not Linux kernel, if that's what you meant. I don't know. Anyway, let's continue. So now we have this very, very simple test that it's very, very fancy. So one thing that we could do here, we could write another input, press enter again, and confirm that we have another peel here. And then we could do the same for the CC BCCL. So let's continue for now. So let's do create. Okay, this is not create appeal. Write an address in the field. Then appeal creation, we have 1 appeals created. Then we hit return, await appeals creation. Then we can duplicate this and say, whoops, write an address, which is foo at valid dot address dot valid. We try to never use potentially valid addresses when we do tests. So we try to do this just to avoid it. 2 promise 2. Here we should have 2 peels now. And instead of VK return, we can hit tab. And let's be sure that, yeah, virtual keyboard tab is the correct thing that we have here. Enter tab triggers the peel creation. Write an address in the field. Okay. And then we can do another thing here. Duplicate this. And let's say that address foo at address. This is another one. Peel promise 3. And we have 3. And we can hit the comma in this case, and the comma will generate the peel. But the comma is already generating the peel. So peel creation promise 3. We can, do we have anything else here? We can, let's leave the comma for now, but here maybe instead of testing the comma, we could test the focus of another field. Yeah, actually, let's do that. We can do these, right? You can do this. Instead of getting the to address, we need to subject message subject. And we can say focus on this. So focusing on another element triggers the peel creation and await peel promise 3. So now we have all these 3 test promises, and here we have 3 peels that generates in this. That should be good, right? Let's give it a try. Test again. Okay. Oh, already done. Yeah, I need to delay. Boom, boom, boom. That's perfect. It did it, right? It did it very, very quickly. Oh, questions. Okay, Laxmi said, do you use Discord? No, I don't. Operating the script for Roblox? No. Sean, what is Thunderbird? You don't know what Thunderbird is? Is the it's a free and open source email client, originally from Mozilla, but now we're independent. What kind of hacking are you doing? I am implementing some unit tests, and I'm fixing some bugs, and I'm having fun coding. So welcome, yay. Yeah, Draman, he's the man, and he's answering to you as well. So we have these tests, which is great. They're covering the address peel here. They're covering the address input. So what I want to do now, I want to transition, not transition. I want to move these, all of these block into a reusable method and then cycle it for the to field, CC field, and BCC field. Which is nice, right? Yeah, it's nice. Circuit input, something like we did here. Yeah, we can put these in a closure. So we can do this. We can do a sync function, assert fields creation. Assert fields creation in field. And then here we can put the input. We can expect the input field. And that's it, I think. Yeah. And we can move these. We don't want this. We can put this inside everything. Boom, boom, boom. Cut. Paste it here. And instead of address input, we can pass these out. Recipients PL. So instead of using these, we use the input everywhere. So instead of address input, we use the input value. Address input. Input attribute. Okay. Recipients container is using it to address blah 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 blah. Okay. So we have these now. We can literally do this. I'm gonna write it here temporarily. I'm gonna put it down, wait, and pass input field. But we don't need these. Cut these down. Boom. Okay, let's write some comments to make it more obvious. So, what is this? Circuit creation in field. A helper method to create multiple fields in field and in a field. Okay, write an address in the field. Enter triggers the field creation. Assert the field was created. Write an address in the field. Another address in the field. And assert the field was created. Boom, bam, boom. Then write another address in the field and assert the field was created. Assert test field creation for the to input field. And let's see if it works, because now we changed a bunch of things. Draman said, do we have failing tests? Yeah, a million. Oh, it's working. Look at that. Boop, 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 blam. Yes, okay. Yes, if you go to 3herder, 3herder is our tree testing things. We push things and we run our tests. All these oranges are failing tests, so it's not that bad, because all of these are caused by, actually the majority of these are caused by something that came from Mozilla Central. So we need to update. Basically, these tests are failing because something changed in the architecture. It's not that the actual section of Thunderbird is not working as the test expects. It's the architecture that failed. So yeah, fun. A lot of the tests failing are caused by architecture issues, not because the actual application has an issue. So yay. But yeah, all the XPC shell tests are green, so which is good. Not a lot, but yeah, every time we push some code to Thunderbird, you can see here, we run all the tests for all the platforms. So we build Windows 7, Windows 2012, Mac OS, Linux, and we do some linting, ES6 linting and preferences, blah blah blah. We do some test builds, and then we run all the tests for all the platform. We run some Marionette tests, Moki test tests, XPC shell tests. And the super annoying things is some tests like XPC shell, they pass perfectly on a platform, a couple of platforms, and then they fail on another platform. So debugging these is so annoying. And sometimes when things change, on the Firefox side, we have bustages, and this is good because we don't release a new version of Thunderbird unless everything is green. So we avoid releasing a busted build, which is good. Martianware, it's not hacking, it's programming. Of course it's programming. Hacking is just a funny term. We're not actually hacking anything. Should I call this Thunderbird Live development? I like Thunderbird Live hacking. We're hacking on Thunderbird. It's just a funny, silly name. It's not that we're hacking anything, actually. Okay, so we have the successful tests, which is great. So now let's do the same for the CC field. Reveal the CC field. Here is the to field. To reveal the CC field, CC, what is this here? CC address. Okay, control. Show address row, CC field, address is this one. Show address row. Okay, we got this. We can use this. Show address row, CC. Perfect. Okay. We can use these, but we need to grab it from the window. Yeah. Actually, window this. We can, yeah, we can fix something. So I think I don't need to use the document, but just show the address, and then here I need to replace this. Okay, so reveal the CC field, and before running more tests, actually let's do it. I trust that these won't explode. It will. To address CC address input. So basically we are using the built-in method that we have in the window to show the address row. We are selecting the address CC field. We're revealing it, and then we are rerunning the same test, but by passing a different input. So all the same fields should be created, but on the CC input field. And that should do it. Right? Hopefully that will do it. I don't know. Oh, okay. There's something wrong here. Oh, okay. We got an issue. Got it. Sorry. So fields created. So the issue is that we are rerunning the same tests, but the number of peels is changing because we are selecting all the peels. So this is not correct. We cannot select the recipient's container, but we need to select the row and count for the row. So let's remove the recipient's container and let's do this. From the input, we can go up to the closest the closest element, and the closest element, if I'm not wrong, so we have the toAddress input, which is here, and the peels are created in the toAddress container. So we can do the closest address container, go up to the closest address container, and then query selector. Go up to the closest address container. So it doesn't matter which address or field we're using, we always use that input field. We go up one level, we select the container of everything, and from within that container, we select all the peels and be sure that the number of peels created in that container matches what we need. Test. Boom. Oh, look at this. Look at this. It works. Pa pa pam, pa pa pam. Yay, it works. Same thing here. So let's do reveal the BCC field. Oh, wrong. Address BCC field, address row BCC, and here Serpiel creation field BCC. Mac test. Hey, look at this. Oh, I moved it. Sorry. I moved something. Okay, yeah. If I interact with the test, it just freezes for a second. Yes. Beautiful. 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 Okay, so a bunch of questions. This was a slick refactor. How do you avoid over abstraction? Techie Press. Lawrence, what do you mean over abstraction? The refactor of the test function for CC, BCC, etc. Over abstraction? Don't understand. Draman asked, HTML ID shouldn't be unique. Yes, they are unique. The issue here is that we were using the recipients container, and the recipients container encapsulates all fields. It encapsulates the to, the CC, and BCC. So basically, we were creating 3 peels on the to field, and that means we have 3 peels in the recipients container. Then we have the CC field. If we have 3 peels in the CC, then we have 6 peels in the overall recipients container, because the recipients container encapsulate, and then at the end we will have 9 peels in the overall recipients container. That's why that wasn't properly working. But yeah, this is good. I love this. So one thing that I want to do now, this is in the CC field. No, this is the BCC field, and this is the CC field. Perfect. Reveal the CC field. Okay, one thing that we can just speed things a little bit here. Every time we run the test, we do another query selector for this. We can avoid this and store these subject field. Let's store it here so we don't have to query selector all the time, every time, right? We need to do these because we need to fetch the new amount of peels, but this is just expensive if we keep running the tests over and over. Martian, from now on, I've been trying to install Black Arch for the first time. It's so slower than Kali. Oh yeah, I don't like Arch, so Draman said, I thought each peel as a parent with the same ID, which was not in this case. No, the peels are standalone elements that, as I showed you at the beginning, can be moved in whatever field you want. So they're not tied to a specific ID. They're just completely independent because we need that flexibility. Strictly asks, I want to learn how to code. Is there any course you're going about? Like, what type of code? Like, what do you want to learn? Do you want to learn PHP, JavaScript, .NET, HTML, CSS? you want to learn a framework? Do you want to learn something else? Let me know what do you want to learn. I will do some recommendation. Okay, so this is good so far. One thing that I think I will do it in oh, sorry, I missed your question. You mean dry principle versus AHA principle? Yes, avoid hasty abstraction versus do not repeat yourself. It's a fine balance. It's really depend, like, I don't think there's a golden rule for that. It really depends on the situation. Like, this helper method that I created does exactly that, and is abstract enough that I can call it how many times I want, and I can do it for all the input fields that I want. And this is the same. Like, I don't need to change the code in this method because it adapts based on the input that I pass. So it's abstract enough to allow me to call it for all the fields and custom fields that I want and expect the same exact result. So I'm good with it. I could abstract it even more, I think, but I don't really want it. Like, it's one thing that I don't like about programming sometimes is when someone tries to be super smart and they try to be, oh, you should abstract it more. You should use a model view component approach. You should do these and explode it, and you should use these principles of design, and you should, okay, sure, yeah, those are good, but you should also look about the situation. Like, what are you trying to do? Can these be done with a simple method or procedural? Can these be done with a simple script? Or you really need that massive thing? Like, it's fine. Like, if it works and it meets the purpose and it doesn't need to be like this method. I also added this method inside the test. So this is a closure inside these tests, and it's a private method, cannot be accessed by other tests because I don't need these to be accessed by other tests, and it's better for memory management because this is not publicly accessible everywhere else, which is what I wanted. So it's good. Yeah, Clay said this is not where. Oh, you want to learn Python? To learn Python, you should follow Blender. Like, the Blender community, it's like Blender is built on Python, and they have a lot of cool information about Python. But to learn Python from scratch, I don't know any Python teacher, unfortunately, but do a Google search. There are some very good introductory YouTube videos that I didn't do it. And there are a lot of books and a lot of classes or courses. Before doing a paid class like Udemy or Skillshare, like, before paying, just use free resources that you can find anywhere. Kirtan asks, what is the real world use case for this? I'm testing exactly this. I'm testing this functionality that a user writes an address and then hits enter and the appeal is created. User writes another address, hits tab, and the appeal is created. User writes another address, clicks outside, and the appeal is created. All these different outcomes of a creation of an addressing appeal now are covered by those tests. So we know that those enter, tab, and change of focus on the field generate the appeal if we have a good if we have an address written in the field, which is good. Draman said, do not forget to remove the skip test when you're done. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm gonna remove that right now. I should test also the generation of yeah, let's do one last thing before concluding. The generation of an error appeal. like appeal. That is not good. In the address field here, let add to input equal to address input. So input value equal invalid. To input. Okay. This right, input value, and then synthesize return. Okay. Here we can say write an invalid email address in the to field. Enter triggers the pill creation, and we can say that what is the unique identifier for a wrong address, a wrong pill? Let's check it. So if we generate wrong address here, what is this? I think, if I'm not wrong, that's a class. That's a class here. So we have this, and we have a mail address, invalid address. Invalid address. Mail address. Okay, we need to assert that we have at least one pill that it's an invalid address. That's perfect. So we can copy these promise here, the first one, pill creation test, wait for condition. It's equal 1. We can put the promise here. Invalid pill promise, we can call it. So in the input, the to input, go into address container and query selector mail address input with invalid. Oh, what was the class? Shit. It was invalid address. Yeah, invalid address. Okay. Invalid address. Okay. So we are invalid pill created. Invalid address promise. And we can await for the invalid address promise. So here, the last thing, we are write an invalid address, assert that an invalid address pill was created. Whoops. Okay. So here we're getting the to field. We're writing simple invalid promise. We are going to the address field and selecting we're selecting all the pills that they have an invalid address, and I'm leaving the query selector all. I could simply do a query selector, but I want to leave query selector all to be sure that it doesn't matter how many pills we selected, because now we're going to have 4 pills in there. Doesn't matter how many pills we selected, only one should be invalid. Then we hit return and we wait for that to be tutti frutti. Sorry. Ugh. When I interact with the window, okay, invalid. It's not creating the peel there. It's not creating a hill. Invalid peel created. It's not creating the peel. Oh, I think we are not focus on this. Yeah. I think this was the issue because at the end of the assertion, we are focusing on the subject field. But before rerunning that, we are using the show address row. These methods automatically show the address input, and then they move the focus on that field. That's why the enter thing works. But in this case, we're not. We already have the field available, and we need to move the focus. Otherwise, we're hitting enter on the subject row, which is not, it doesn't do anything. So I think that should do it. Bam. Yes, you see the red peel? Bam, 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 bam. Red peel. Bam! We did it, boys! We did it. Okay. All right. So it's good. Oh, Draman, yeah, thanks for pointing to the typo on line 403. Oh, you read also the lines. That's good. It's beautiful coding live because a lot of the times you guys help me to find the typos. Bradley, first time being here. Thank you. Welcome, Bradley. This place is very relaxing. Keep up the good work. May I ask you a question? Yes, Bradley, you can ask all the questions you want. No one ever told me that this place is relaxing. Okay, the things that I do are relaxing. I'm freaking out. Just so much coffee. I'm just okay, that's good. That's good. Relax. iProgamer YouTube, sei italiano? Sì, sono italiano. Si capisce dal nome. Then Lauren says, can you share more about closures? Are they the same in JS and PHP? What's the difference between closures and recursion or recursive functions? Yes, closures are pretty much the same in PHP and JavaScript. If you put and sometimes I'm making the mistake. It's not really a mistake. I call a closure a function. This blah blah blah, but it's just naming. If you put a closure inside another closure, that's automatically private in both JavaScript and PHP. You don't need to declare it private or public. Automatically repeats. JavaScript and PHP, especially since Emacs 2016, if I'm not wrong. So ES6, since the introduction of ES6, JavaScript started implementing a lot of object-oriented programming, very similar to PHP. A lot of the classes and the constructors are very similar. What's the difference between a closure and recursive or recursive function? Recursion, I don't remember. I should know this, but I don't remember. I'm sorry. That's one of my main weakness. The theory, like describing the theory, it's hard for me, especially because I learned the theory in Italian, and describe it in English, it's complicated. But I know how to do these things. So like when I see the code, I was like, oh, this should be done this way. And then, can you explain why? I'm like that, right? Draman said, oh, today we're having a busy live session, 70 people. Yeah, it's hello, everyone. So all the 70 people that are watching right now, write hello when I say 3. Okay? So everyone that is watching, say hello at 1, 2, 3. Now, right hello. There's a little bit of delay in the video, so you're gonna get it in a few minutes probably. But yeah, so we have this. I need to write okay. Oh, only one. Only one? Oh, this is so sad. 70 people watching and only one is... Okay, 2 hello, 3 hello, 4 hello. Come on. 5 hello, 6. Come on, more. Guys. That's so sad. 6 out of 70. What's the percentage of that? It's not even 10%. It's 9 point something. Come on, please. Oh, 7. We are 10% of people. 10% of people are actually engaged. That's beautiful. It's always like that on YouTube, right? You have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but then you engage always with the same like 100 people, because that's how it is. Like a lot of people just subscribe and they forget. Saurav, you were supposed to write a hello, not hi. That doesn't count. No, it's okay. Hi. Thank you. Okay, so now I want to show you what we do with Fabricator, which is super cool. So usually with Mercurial queues, I would manually export, like do like HG export, grab the patch, export it to a file, and manually upload it to the bug in Bugzilla. But we have Fabricator here. And Fabricator is more automated, so we can push with a command line tool that we have that I installed, and it comes when you install Firefox and you compile it for the first time. Not when you install it, when you compile it for the first time, you get that tool, which is super cool. So here we need to, first of all, if we do hgdiff, oh, wait, Draman, the skip. Draman. Thank you, Draman. Okay, so we have this. So if we do hgdiff, yes, we have in our addressing widget, we are implementing the test. Okay. First of all, let's do hg add, and it's basically exactly like git commit message bug. What is the number of this bug? We have it here, 167. Actually, let's grab it from the actual bug to be sure that I'm not copying a wrong number, which I did. If you report a wrong bug number in the commit message, Fabricator freaks out. Literally closes the wrong bug when you push it. Is just a mess. So, and here we can simply copy, implement automated search for recipient peels. And we need to specify a reviewer with our plus. We're gonna point to Dark Trojan, which is the genius of tests. And we gotta commit here. Perfect. So before doing anything though, let's do a try run, because as I show you, we have a server that runs all our test automation, but we also have a try server where we can push stuff and test these things. So let's do these. To push a try run, we need to implement a Mercurial queue. So hq new. Yeah, these are just tags that we use in order to trigger. Basically, we're saying try. I'm creating a new queue. Basically, it's a fake patch. It's an empty patch called try. So we ping the try server and say, hey, try, run these. Build, do a build. Which platform? All platforms. So Linux, Windows, and macOS. Which unit test we want to run? I could say all, or XV Shell, or Marionette. I want to run only Mocky test because I updated the Mocky tests section, and we named these patch just try, but it's simple. And then we can do an out to the try CC and point to the revision of the tip. This tip is what I'm currently working on. And this code, like hg out try cc, basically pings the try server and returns which patches or which diffs are gonna be pushed if I push. And I know that I'm pushing the try name, that the one with these commit message, and I'm also pushing my patch that implement the automated test for recipient peels. Perfect. So I can do hg push, force push to the try cc server with the tip, only push to the tip, the tip of our like Mercurial history. If I don't specify the tip, and I did it in the past, it just pushes everything. Like everything that I have, even patches that I haven't applied, is just a fucking mess. So I did it. So we do hg push to the tip. And it takes a little bit, and now we have this. Perfect. We know that we push 2 remotes, so the try and the thing, and then we can pop the try and remove the try patch. So now Q series is still empty, nothing is applied. Perfect. So now we have the bookmark here. Let's give it a couple of seconds here. It should appear in a couple of seconds. Or I can click on this. Yeah, it's being processed. It's still processing, but we can leave it here. While this runs, we can automatically push something to Fabricator for the reviewer that we specified, which in our case is Dark Trojan. Hey, can you review this? And in order to push this to Fabricator, we just have to use mods fab. And automatically mods fab will check our commit history or our list of applied bookmarks, and oh, this is new one, and you have this bug and you want to implement automated test and the reviewer Dark Trojan. Do you want to submit to the Fabricator and Mozilla? And we need to write all uppercase yes. Automatically pushes to Fabricator with a unique revision name. And what happens on Fabricator? It's awesome, because now if I access Fabricator review, I refreshed. There you go. We have this new name or new revision with the bug. Automatically, since we use that specific convention in naming in the commit message, automatically recognizes the bug, pings the proper reviewer that I specify in the R equal Dark Trojan. So that user automatically gets pinged in the email, hey, there's a review for you. Lists all the addition, and the addition can be commented. It's just like exactly to GitHub. And in the Bugzilla, if we refresh, automatically there's a Fabricator revision link to it because of the commit message. And it's all automated and mods fab. And if I update this patch or I change something, I have to just simply write mods fab and pushes the new changes, which is awesome. Here we need to specify these as assigned and save changes. Eh? How do you like this? Yeah, this is awesome. This launch. Okay, this kicked in. Awesome. So this is gonna take probably half an hour or something. So it's boring, but you can go to 3header and take a look at it. But yeah, it's running, so it's gonna check all the builds and things, and it's gonna be dope. And that's it. And let's go back, update to master. Let's close this. Nice. That was positive live streaming, right? Lots of message. Hello, hello, hello. Draven says they're shy. Yeah. Hello, Panelizet. Draven says, oh, maybe you all who are watching could click the like button to show some love, since you're shy saying hello. Maybe. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Well, we are at the end of this beautiful live streaming. We did it for 1 hour and a half. Bradley. Oh, that was your question. Yeah, I was waiting for your question. I'm heading into app development for a product I've been very passionate about. The business plan is done. Design is done. The UX is extremely important to me. How do I go about creating it? That's a very simple question, Bradley. Study UX. Don't try to hack it. Do some UX classes, find some UX courses, learn from other applications, check if you have your competitors, if you have competitors, so something similar to your application, see what they're doing. Study UX, user experience design and user experience development. It's something that you cannot wing it. You cannot say, I'm gonna give it a try, it is what it is. No, If you do it wrong, it just destroys your entire product. Doesn't matter how powerful and good your product is, if it's not usable, it's not going to be used. So yeah, Draven says Flutter, but before picking a language or before picking a platform, learn the basics of user experience, because it doesn't matter the language, it doesn't matter the platform, it doesn't matter the framework. Learn the basics. That's going to be super, super duper important. But anyway, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you all for tuning in. Oh, I'm tired. Oh. Need more coffee. Whoa, I'm screaming. Okay, as usual, please leave a like if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. Share this video. Share the love. Leave me a question or a comment below this video for something that you would like to see in the next live streaming. I usually do this live streaming every Thursday morning for me, like around this time. But yeah, if you have any questions or something specific that you want to see about Thunderbird, or something specific that you want to fix about Thunderbird, you want to change, just leave a comment below, and we will probably try to do it one of the upcoming weeks. So thank you so much for watching, and until the next one, as usual, remember, happy coding. Bye.